Right, hello everybody. My name is Daniel Allen. I am one of your local councillors for North Arts District Council, and I want to take this opportunity to introduce to you the candidate for Walsworth in Hitchin. This is the wonderful Elizabeth Dennis Harburg. Hello,
Hi.
Elizabeth. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. So you have been a councillor for NHDC for a little while now, haven't you?
For a little bit, for 5 years.
Yeah. And I wanted to know, what is your favourite thing about the ward that you represent?
Um, I guess everybody will say this is like cliches. It's really difficult to pick just one favorite thing about the place that you represent. But this morning we were out walking the dogs, and I turned to my husband and said that actually I think that Walsworth is probably the most beautiful. I'm going to get shot for this. I think Walsworth is actually the most beautiful part of Hitchin. We've got a beautiful common, and we've got an absolutely stunning meadow with Purwell Meadow and the river running through the ward as well. And I think there's just like a really, really good community feel, and lovely, lovely people in the area.
I can't say as I disagree with that at all, but I can imagine there'll be a few councillors in Alton Ward that might. So being a councillor for North Arts District Council can be incredibly varied, from planning to the environment, from parking to community engagement. Now, I know that you have had a very specific role over the last year or so. What is it that you have been doing for NHDC?
As well as sort of what you would call the day job of being a councillor, representing residents and doing as much as you can to support and help your local community. I'm fortunate enough to, or unfortunate enough, depending on your viewpoint, I guess, to be a member of Cabinet, and my portfolio has been recycling and waste for the last 2 years. So I've had lots of fun dealing with the waste contract and trying to turn the operation of that around from the mess, quite frankly, the Conservative administration left our bin service in, to something quite functional. And I think the last 12 months have been extremely hard work for everybody in the waste team and working for Abasa collecting the rubbish. But I'm incredibly proud that they've gone through a pandemic and we've not seen a relapse back to the bin contract under the Tories with a broken bin service. But we've actually had a functioning bin service, and we've got very, very few residents now reporting issues. So that's positive. And with the bin contract actually operating properly, it's freed up our time to start doing a bit more strategic work and thinking about, well, how can we deal with the massive amount of food waste, and how can we sort of impact and progress on our climate objectives as well, in reducing our contributions to emissions. We're looking at the single-use plastic campaigns, encouraging people to use more reusables instead of coffee cups when they're out and about in town centres. There's a lot of work going on in the area, and it'll be great to be able to continue that next year, hopefully.
So you do a huge amount of work as a councillor, but what is your day job? What do you do separate from NHDC?
Separate from NHDC, I am an investigator with the Financial Ombudsman Service. So I do a lot of, obviously, consumer, but also financial business support. Everybody thinks it's consumers versus big banks, and it's not. There's a whole plethora of organisations that we work with, right from your likes of HSBC down to your one-man independent financial advisors and insurance brokers. So there's a lot of work that we do sort of helping and supporting them, understanding why consumer relationships might have broken down to make things better.
Yeah. So how have you spent this lockdown?
Sewing. So I can't sit still. I've been making clothes for me and the kids. I've got gym equipment over here. I've been trying to keep fit and healthy and active as best we're able to indoors. I've also been obviously working on quite a few campaigns to do with council stuff, especially around food waste, because that's quite a big piece of work. But yeah, just bits and bobs. This is another one of those things where you can't have favourites, isn't it? I like all of the Hitchin coffee shops, actually. I'll avoid the Costas and the Starbucks because I feel that they're actually doing okay for themselves in terms of turnover and maintaining their business. We tend to buy our coffee for at home from Wakelands in Hitchin. I like the coffee lab for the pastries and cakes and things. Groundworks has some really, really tasty food, but being vegan is difficult because I don't want to eat the same thing every time I go out. So I think we'll go to a different coffee shop every week. How about that? Is that fair?
Is there anything else that you would like to say to your potential voters ahead of May the 6th?
I think that there's a million things that I could say, but I think that the most important thing to say to the electorate is it's been a really, really weird year. I know you might be feeling apprehensive about going out and voting in person. Postal votes could play a big part this election. If you're not registered to vote by post, please do that before the deadline. And actually, when it comes down to local government elections, in my opinion, these are more important than your parliamentary elections because your district council is the one that directly impacts on your life more a lot of the time than anything that happens in that place down in London. If you want to make sure that your bins are emptied on time, you need to vote for a competent councillor from a competent, not even from a competent party, just a competent human being who is going to make sure your bins are emptied, that the environment is looked after, that your housing needs are met. And of course, I will say Labour candidates are the ones to deliver that.